All right, now we're talking. Hello everyone. Welcome back to All the Mods 9 to the Sky. I think before we get into anything else, now that I'm producing a decent amount of this dirt, as you can see at the top there, it's going about 5 every half a second or 10 every second. I should be able to finally get some proper terraforming done and see if I can clean this up before we get into building anything else. So, how about we get that done? Yeah. And then I think we can work on maybe expanding some power. That is nice. That's really nice. Using these aurum saplings, I really love those trees. And I've gone around and basically covered all of the stuff with grass or dirt. This is feeling good. Now there's some places where the grass needs to spread naturally and make its way around. I haven't gone too detailed on the back because I'm not too worried about it right now. But this area down here, this is really nice. It feels pretty cool. I like it. Now, another thing that's really nice is this guy over here was selling another one of my fortune pickaxes, which I bought. And that means that if we come over here, where you can see I've also changed things up a bit, I wanted to be able to walk through into the back and set up some stuff back here. So it's not necessarily the nicest looking. We might put a doorway on there. But we now access this from this side. We can grab an anvil from in there. And both of my new stone breakers. When I put them together, we get Fortune 5. So a Fortune 5 pickaxe is very, very nice. Going to be quite helpful. So with some of the terraforming done, I have opened up this space back here. We have plenty of dirt now. I'm going to get started trying to set some stuff up from Laser IO, which I think should allow me to automate some of this power generation stuff, this power stuff. Now, as far as the nitro crystals go, I've made myself a few more, but we need to set ourselves up with the what is it? This stuff, the hostile neural networks. So I'm going to try and make myself a little room that combines both that and maybe some hostile neural networks inside of this chunk here. I might put the networks over on this side, and I might see if I can work out how to make some automated power generation. Now, I'm not going to necessarily show that off because I think it will be easier for me to work out the laser IO stuff by watching some tutorials and whatnot. So I'm going to set that up, and if I can get it automated, at least on the simplified stuff all the way up to spirited, then once we have those hostile neural networks going, we might be able to even automate the final version. If that's the case, I'm hoping that I can set up a crafter and make it so that we can automate, oh, hold on, let me turn that off, automate ourselves Nitro Magmators. Now, these are a little low. What are you struggling with? What is using all of that power? Interesting. I did just recently, of course, make a few things, so it could be that it is just running out as it charges up these spirited energizing rods again, so we should see that tick up pretty quickly. But if we're at the point where just doing a couple of high-powered things does take away most of our power, then it makes sense that we probably need to increase our power output. Now, this has still been running away, so we really are starting to build up a really good supply of items. 15,000 emeralds and a bunch of diamonds and all of that. Plus, I've updated to the newer version and there are a couple of extra things that are coming through now. It makes sense that we go from somewhere around the 160k per tick to, a lot higher. A lot higher. And we're going to make use of all of this lava. So, I'm going to do some learning of my own, go through the process of setting up some automation in this area, and then bring you guys back in to do the fun stuff of increasing our power output. Sounds like a good plan. Also, yeah, maybe I'll turn off this stuff, make myself look pretty. That's better. I can see you guys now. So, I'll be back with you all in just a second. All right. Several hours later, and I've done a few things. Some of that is obvious, and the rest is hidden behind that door. Let's go have a look at what I managed to do. Well, actually, there's a few things outside this door, like, for example, this elevator, which takes me down to a very, very rough little crafting setup here, where I have a netherite crafter. And if I look in there, I have crafting patterns for every single one of these. Now, I should probably take stuff like this, for example, and clear that pattern and go like this. And, well, actually, yes, I will keep that exact. That's fine. But I think it had made a different pattern there. So that's an improvement. Oh, I've got two. Ah, silly me. That's because I didn't make a recipe for the dielectric paste. It was a recipe for clay using some different essences. All right, you go back in there. My mistake. So I have automated or got the automatic recipes for all of these things up to a Magmator. So let's have a look in here. This room is now completely set up to automate power. Well, almost completely. The only thing I haven't automated is these hostile neural network simulation chambers. I haven't automated putting in these prediction matrices. That being said, I have now automated clay. I would just have to get my gold automatically smelting and grab some of this sand and automatically turn that into glass as well. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So first thing I did was go through and connect up all of these crafters to a barrel, and using a laser node from Laser.io, I have made it so that these items with a counting filter put in the exact amount of items that I need, and they will go directly into these drawers, which, if I bring out my linking tool, you can see that every single drawer in here has been connected to my drawer controller and therefore my system. Now, if we look in here, I realize that you can add these upgrades to the storage controller, and it says increases the controller's radius. So I increased mine by 8, and even though I didn't quite stick in the same chunk like I said I was going to, we are keeping within this one. So that's nice. I keep most of this loaded anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So these will automatically request items that they need to craft until you have enough. I'm hoping that from this point, we should be able to auto craft a Nitro Magmator. Now we have 47 nether stars here, which is enough to get us quite a few of these. All of this has been automated down to its most basic form because I like the idea of them not being blocks and not having to craft otherwise. And also some of these, I can only do so by using the blaze powder because I don't have an automatic way to collect the blaze rods other than with EMC, but I don't really want to do that. I like using what we are getting from the machine up above. On top of that, I learned how to use phytogenic insulators. So I have set these up with a pretty basic system, but it did take a fair bit of crafting. We have a resonant integral component and a bunch of flux linkage amplifiers. And I started setting this up with the sand to eventually put phytogrow in those. But for now, a couple of hundred of those when only 2 of each makes 24 of the clay was enough for me. And of course, I decided to just get a little bit of this inferium started as well. I'll probably put some upgrades on that just to be safe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That way they should hold a decent amount, up to 8,000. And it just automatically feeds itself back in using the auto input and auto output. And we've got it going back and forth that way. Water fed from the bottom. And this is all fed from the back with power. It's a little bit funny looking. We have a modular router taking the ender predictions out of those. And then these pipes on the top are sending the predictions into this section, this loot fabricator, and it can turn it into those. So for example, if I wanted to get more, I would make myself a bunch of these, for which, yeah, I need more glass. That's probably why I didn't do it just yet. Luckily, with that little bit of extra work over there, I do have enough sand to make as much glass as I need. This was for the sake of it. Why not? That being said, it probably means that we need to upgrade our power if we keep adding these things. Oops. So we'll make up a couple of glass panes and I'll just get myself some prediction matrices and we'll put that back in here. They're already up to nearly 25%, so they're pretty successful in their efforts to create a piece. And we should see very shortly sequence prediction failed. That's fine, but it will make a generalized ender prediction. This modular router will just pick those up and put them straight into here. And I put a void upgrade on that. Now, in a very short amount of time, we should see a successful one come through because we're now over 20. Oh my goodness. A successful one come through because we are over 25% and it shouldn't take too long for one to come through. There we go. It's automatically doing it. And it's fast enough that it just puts it straight through into here. So we're nearly at 50 nether stars. A lot quicker than having to go fight some withers. There we go. There's another prediction. There's a couple coming through and they'll go straight down into there. And as that is connected to my system, this machine over here can automatically grab it to craft it. So I think there is nothing for it but to come over here and in my power section, let's say I want to craft 10. That would get me 400,000 extra power generation. I'm going to do that. It shows all that it has to craft, a bunch of different things. Let's see how we go. Now we should be able to come in here and see these things being put in. They will automatically feed. Every single one of these has nitro. So that is putting in what it needs until this builds up. You can see each one of these is counting up, making itself, can you get out of the way, please? Making itself what is necessary. And it's not super, super fast, but it should continue on until we start seeing some nitro magmators coming through here. Now, a fun thing to do might be to make a crafting monitor. There we go. Let's add that there. We just need a couple of patterns like so. And we'll just put that here. And we should be able to see what it is in the process of crafting. Going through all of these, is there anything that is stuck? Oh, it might not have enough gold. No, it should for sure. Let's just see. Has 80 of that. Hasn't needed to craft any more just yet. There's no guarantee that this is going to work. Stored processing. Okay. Scheduled there. It is slowly generating those things. I think that is probably what is slowing us down, is just having enough of these. It's going through that process, making more of them. Nice, 29. And it hasn't had any need to increase those just yet, I suppose. All right. I'm just going to have to keep an eye on this and see if there is anything that has slowed down. Now, if we look in here, I have made, I believe, everything that I need to, all of the patterns and such. It just requires the objects to be there. Has something locked up? No, it shouldn't. It's possible that it is waiting on a craft of these. I'll have to see. Another way that we could do that, it might be this. I think it might be. Let's just use this last pattern that I have here, and let's give this pattern over to the machine over here instead. Let's put that there and allow it to craft that, possibly. Okay, I think that is my one thing that I need to organize, is a way for that to craft back into the system. If I can sort that out, then I should be good to go. But the rest of this seems to be working just fine. We're generating materials slow-ish, but it will generate what we need. Okay, let's continue. Well, I have 2 in there. I'm going to grab those out and I'm going to restart this for 8. I think I may have found my solution, was just to add these kinds of drawers to all of that. I'm hoping, and we shall see if this continues. I'm a little bit worried. It seems like it might have crafted half of them, and all it's waiting on now is these nitro crystals. So does that mean that I'm just watching these ones get finished? It seems to not have the blazing in there. Now, does that mean that I do need to feed that with blazing? It's not perfect, but I do have 6 now. Let's just cancel this and try this one more time. If I want nitro, I've got 6. Let's make another 6, like so. There's 4 instantly. And okay, now it is making what it needs for this. So I am limited by the speed of this, obviously. The speed with which this happens. I think I can come through here and item card on one of these. I can speed it up so that it happens a lot faster. Oops, there we go. I want to transfer. Sure, I can transfer that nice and quickly. There we go. That happens a lot quicker. I think I'll just up the transfer amount on all of those just to make sure it is nice and quick. But now all we are waiting on is it making enough of these for it to run. Now it seems that even though it finds this blazing crystal here, it doesn't actually recognize that now, that it can have it in here. So maybe I can only make it a certain amount at a time, or perhaps it is waiting. I'm really not sure. Yeah, it seems like there is a bit of a hang up here. Something to do with these blazing blocks. And I'm just wondering if I'm able to do this and will that fix the problem? I don't have the best knowledge for troubleshooting. It does seem like that has got a little hung up. But I mean, I'm making them without having to do all of the crafting in between. It's not perfect, but I am making them. Let's try for another 4. Start. It does the thing. Okay. But I do believe what it has done here is grabbed as much of this blazing blocks as it can, and then I'm not sure it's going to grab the rest. Yeah, it seems to be stuck on this blazing setup. Okay, not perfect. What I think would probably solve the problem is if I just cancelled all of this and crafted myself 64 of those. We've got plenty of the blaze powder, so let's just allow that to run in the background and call it a semi-automatic. Kind of nice setup, I suppose. It does the job. It works pretty all right. Plus, we got plenty of stuff for all of that. I'm not too worried about it. So, if that is the case, this here can probably improve. Now, I wish I knew how much this used per tick. Oh, what is using all of that? That is using more than we can generate, apparently. So my system here definitely needs that upgrade. Like, real bad. Okay. I have an idea. Now, in one of the more recent updates, hold on, refined storage, crafting monitor. Sure, thanks, I'll grab that. In one of the more recent updates, we'll put all this away. I do believe they made it so that Bastion remnants could be found in the Nether. One of the things that I would really like to make is this thing, a hyperbox, but that requires some crying obsidian. Now, there are ways we can do that with bees or using antimatter. My goodness. We could use witch water with create, but it does say that there are some in Bastion treasures. Why don't we, now that we have the ability to fly, why don't we grab some more obsidian again? Do I have a flint and steel? Haha. Look, it's easy enough to make one. And let's head back over into the Nether. Maybe not using the same old spot. Let's close these doors. If I make myself a new Nether portal in here, grab that sconce back and just... Sure. You must have to light it with a flame. Oops. And we head back inside. Hopefully, we can find ourselves a bastion. Or a remnant of one, anyway. So we've been that direction, of course. I'm going to head over a way that we haven't been yet, which is this way. Now we are zooming. We can increase the speed of that. Just fly around. There we go. Straight away, we can see what we're after. Now I'm going to have to be a little bit careful because obviously we don't want to take these guys on. I don't have any modular items in my inventory. Me pressing shift apparently does a thing now. Let's just quickly go to keybinds. Key shift. Left shift is sneak. Show details for Jade. Yeah, no, that's fine. Show details for mechanism. That shouldn't do it. Show more item hover info. I feel like that might be it. Let's shift a few times. Yeah, that was that one. So, let's do a quick little see if I can fly over here in a way that... Ow. I don't have to deal with these guys. Now I'm going to slow myself down a bit so that I don't accidentally fly into them. And then... I'm going to take these things and see if we can find one of the chests that'll have what we're after. Now it looks like there's one down there. Ooh, that guy would be fun to take. No, nothing in here. Let's have a little look around. Where's the loot? Honestly, worth taking that too. Let's try this one over here. It looks like it's the same style of bastion. How about in here? No. I think it might need to be in the treasure sections, if that makes sense. Oh, nice. So, if we came from that way, let's look for one that might have a lower treasure area. We zoom in. Maybe you? Yeah. If we pop down here, there's a lot of fighting going on, and I'm just going to ignore them and grab that. Yes. Perfect. Okay. So, ow, I got an arrow in my head. That gets us some crying obsidian that is going to give us what we need. I'm going to take some of these things. Oh, a smithing template. I just got one. That's amazing. That means that we can get netherite upgrades. Ooh. More crying obsidian. Amazing. Okay. Oh, shush. I got what I needed. Now we're fast as anything. We'll travel back to the overworld. Or actually, in fact, I can just slash home. Perfect. So I can put some of this stuff away, of course. The smithing template is fantastic. That's really going to help us out. And what was it that I needed it for again? Recipe uses. Ah, the hyperbox, of course. So, this is a little bit like a mod from All the Mods 8, which allowed you to create, well, essentially a little pocket dimension the size of a chunk. I'm going to put you here. If I right-click this, we're going to call this Powah. We're going to save and enter. Now in here, we have access to a 16 by 16, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's a 13 by 13. But if we go to the maps, I should be able to claim this chunk that it is in. Like that. And make it so that it is forcefully loaded. That means we can put anything inside of here and it will constantly be loaded and I can just come out of there whenever I need. Perfect. You love to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Magmators that I have created, of which I have 10 for now. I'm going to grab myself a few more of these ender tanks and connect them over on these. Right now it says that fluid pump is quite low. 250 millibucket pump. I can up that, but we know that we made a few mistakes with that. And I'm going to set myself up for power inside of that little cube. Let's see what I can make. Now, if we go back over here, it's janky, but I can kind of craft some at a time. If I do this, I got 3 out of that for some reason. But with the process being a little bit all over the place, I still have managed to get myself a few things in here. Now I've worked out that each one of these pipes, these ultimate mechanical pipes, can have a pump rate of 32 millibuckets per tick. And from a little bit of research, I think that these Magmators at Nitro level consume 1 millibucket or a bucket per tick, meaning that each one of these pipes, if we go across over here, oh, it's raining, can actually only handle 32 buckets per tick out of one of these pulleys. So realistically, I can only have one of these tanks, but I'm really not sure what the output of these ender tanks is, so it's sort of a bit of a guessing game. It's a little bit all over the place. Now I'm thinking that if I set myself up with 32 of them, it should still work. As such, right now we have 12 at the bottom and 13 there. If I was to say, remove that, add some more pipe up here, like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Like this, for example. No, like that. Yeah. And that would give us 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I just need 3 more and we'll have a full 32 setup. Let's see if I can do that. Also, this should be able to go like that. So if I can manage to get this to craft me up 3 more nitros like this, will it do it with what I have? Probably not. I'm going to have to sort of restart the system every now and again. Right now it is making stuff there, so it is going through the process, but there's probably smarter people out there who understand a little bit better what I'm doing wrong. For now though, a little bit of a back and forth and double checking, resetting this and cancelling it if it gets caught is just fine by me. See, there's a request for 4 that I did earlier, which I guess I'll cancel that, and then let's just try for 3 more now. That made 1. Oh, that made 3. Okay. Oh goodness. Yeah, it's a little odd. Either way, I now have 32 of them. So 32 of those, in theory, should be providable from this setup. Now, the ender tanks, it says 4K millibucket pump. That may mean that it can only do 4 buckets per tick. So if this was really cranking, it might not work. But for now, we're just going to go on the assumption that this will work. So, oh, I need 1 more of those. Let's then make what we need for this. I got some extra flux powder, so I should be able to go over here and make myself a flux plug. In fact, I probably want 2 of those. Flux block, and there we go. If we take that in here, I should be able to plug, no, not like that, a flux plug there and there. Add them to the network, like so. And theoretically, this should crank out, well, what's 32 times 40, 1.28 million FE per tick. From that is assuming that this system keeps up, but I don't really have anything that is going to grab that much right now. So if I was to say remove this, let's just take this away for a second. It does mean that we would not have the constant storage, the 400 million storage, but we should be able to see a throughput still happening here. Maximum output, what does it hit at max? 64,000 or something like that? Not too bad. Because those Magmators in there are producing more than enough, this can continue to run quite happily and everything else as well. And maybe we can think about a slightly better version of power storage. Yeah, see, this is weird. It's weird how it's getting stuck. I'm really not sure about that. But if we pop over into here, it looks like everything is still generating just fine. And this is interesting. I'm going to play around with this and see if I can make sure it is consistent and able to keep up with all of the inputs and outputs and all of that stuff. I think it might be nice to try and go into some induction cells and make ourselves a huge battery from Mechanism. But for now, this should provide constant power without the need for this ender cell battery. Cool. That's great. So I've decided what I'm going to do just to make sure this works okay is actually just craft up a good supply of all of the stuff that I need. For example, a bunch of these, of course, and even so far as getting this stuff going too. And that should get these all working pretty quickly. They will continue to pump out materials as fast as they can, using up a lot of power. And this is also a good indication of whether or not what we have going here is working. So if I pop over into here and we look at these things, there should be some of these taking a little bit out. Looks like these ones are probably providing power first. I guess it works in a line. So that one there is empty almost constantly, and it is using some of that. Interesting. Oh, there was one in there that's empty too. I guess it just picks and chooses which one it wants to start with. But either way, I do believe this is quite comfortably keeping up with the system. Cool. So if we pop across here and have a look at our system, this rain is crazy, but network statistics, we have peaks of about 250,000. Okay. But even without the battery buffer of 400 billion, no, million. It seems to be working just fine. Now, I'd be interested to see what happens when I put rather than a plug. Oh, the rain stopped. I grabbed a point, and will this fill that up quite quickly? So we have 290 million. If I set that to my network, yeah, that fills up pretty quickly. It does seem to be pumping out about the 1 point something million per tick. And if we look at all of this, it's probably used up some of the storage from these things. Okay. We also got to keep in mind that each one of these Magmators stores 40 million. So if I have 32 times 40 million, calculator, that's a storage of 1.28 billion. So this doubles as a battery. A bigger battery than what we have going on over here. This is 400 million. So this would be nice as just a little backup. But essentially each and every one of those Nitro generators stores 40 million FE. Kind of cool. I am well aware that there are far better ways to generate power in these systems. We could quite easily go over into something like the bigger reactors, or even go down the route of mechanism reactors and make something like this, which I'm pretty sure can produce upwards of 200 million FE per tick. 400 million FE per tick, of course. But I don't much feel like doing that just yet. And as an early game, fun little different power source, I like the idea of making myself a giant lake of lava and using that lava as power. It seems fun. So, got myself a nice little power source here, and I could continue to expand this in an interesting way with pipes and different versions of this, where all I would need to do if it wasn't providing enough lava would be to add more of the create sources. These things, these hose pulleys. It seems to be keeping up, but yeah, I could always add plenty more. There's so much room down here. And since this is an infinite source, I could add 100, 200 of these quite comfortably. Very nice. But I'm going to continue to let this run and build up my supplies of sources. We've got plenty going on here. It is a little bit frozen on that one though. Interesting. I'll let all of these build up and I can always reset this process. Interesting. I'll cancel that one. These ones work just fine. It's just, I think this that is getting a little bit caught up. That being said, we've got a little bit stored, but I'm going to end the episode here and I am going to have to put out another video soon explaining what has been going on and why there was such a delay. And unfortunately, the short of it is I don't think I'm going to be able to continue this series. I will put out a video soon with more information, and I may even make this world available for download for all of you to use if you would so desire. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. For now, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone for all of your support, including my Patreon supporters. It really means a lot. And to everyone who made it this far in the series, I hope you had a good time. And until the next one, I hope you all take care of yourselves. And I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everyone. Whoop!